Today is Friday, May 10th, and today's agricultural fact of the day pertains to avian influenza again. And today's information actually is courtesy of a follower of mine, Kristin, who also runs the Hatchaholics Anonymous group on the Book of Faces. So the information for today's fact actually came from CBS News, which was courtesy of Kristin, and it was published on April 30th. And a lot of people don't realize that avian influenza can potentially also infect mammals. I took the information from CBS News to make this fact, and obviously I'm going to have to edit it for TikTok lingo. More than half of the cats around a Texas dairy farm that tested positive for avian influenza this spring have unalived after drinking raw milk from those sick cows. The cats had been found unalived with no apparent wounds and from a resident population of 24 domestic cats fed milk from these sick cows. So when these unalived cats were being found, they collected tissue samples from their hearts and lungs, and that showed a high amounts of the virus inside of that tissue. Obviously, if you're familiar with farms, specifically dairy farms and cat populations on dairy farms, sometimes you accumulate more cats than you actually want. So 24 cats, although it sounds like a lot on a farm, but with those types of living situations, illnesses can spread rampant. So I'm sure that because the cows tested positive for avian influenza, that brought up the little red flag about, hey, we should probably test these cats for avian influenza or FIV, which is feline AIDS, or leukemia, you know, all the things that cause cats to unalive. This article also goes into how they've been testing retail samples of milk, and 1 in 5 samples test positive. They find remnants of the virus, but the pasteurization process has actually killed the virus. So keep drinking that pasteurized milk. And they are still urging Americans to not consume raw milk. And there are a lot of conspiracy theorists out there that say that we should only be drinking raw milk, and raw milk is great for us, except for in situations like this where you have potential pathogens that are killed by pasteurization, and also tuberculosis. So thank you to those of you that commented on my video from a few days ago about why there's differences between beef and dairy cattle, because I did not realize that it could be transferred through milk. And thank you, Aaron, for shedding light on that. I do appreciate that. It's still bizarre to me that I just had not stumbled across that information in my travels of searching for information. But in other news, today has been a much better day than yesterday. I have not found any poultry dead, and we actually have new babies at school. The other day before I left, I palpated the mama chinchilla, and I was like, man, she feels like she has some babies in there. And sure enough, yesterday morning, my co-ag teacher called me because I was home from work and told me that there were little tiny baby chinchillas. This is Gamora. So we have 2 little baby chinchillas. They look like standard grays, but I'm really hoping for a female because we have a mosaic male that would be a perfect mate for her, you know, somewhere down the road.